I'm watching Dr. Phil, and this is what the 1st of March 2018. He's talking to this woman, and her family has treated her. They took her to doctors and medical doctors, psychiatrists, and they were treating her though for she thought she was that demons were possessing her, and she was having, well, a lot of problems that are. Now she's on Dr. Fields because they didn't, focus on the right thing. He's even saying right here, Dr. Phil is. I have to wonder where all these people. I'm trying to cut my volume down here. I'm wondering where all these doctors are that I can't get the cut down. Nobody. The media won't touch it, and they certainly know about mind control. So if you're going to go after the guns, and I'm sorry, I should have cut this off. Uh, yeah, I got it upside down. Let me get it. Uh, Before Dr. Phil went off, while he was on with this lady, and he's right up there. He's saying that they focused on that, and if you focus on the wrong thing, like if you like I've said in the past, if you go in and you're treated for cancer and that's not what you have, let's say they go and treat you for the flu and you have cancer, okay, then you know what I mean. Real quick, you know what I mean. You're not going to get any better, you're going to get worse, etc. Now he's talking about the same thing here, that she's not demonically possessed, that it's a type, he's saying, and I didn't get all that she's hallucinating and it's anxiety involved. And so if you don't treat the right thing, you're not going to cure it. If you treat her for demons, you're just gonna make it worse. Can you put this in your mind? What this woman's going through, and she's not hadn't been treated correctly, and she's cut herself. She's hallucinated. Is what he's saying it is, Dr. Phil. And I think he's one of the most honest people. I don't think he's going to address mind control, even though it's in the. You can Google it, YouTube it. There's so many with professionals and people who get called every name in the book are up with really good YouTubes. I have to do mine myself. I come by this another way, and I've put it all up here on YouTube and Facebook. I've gone to the media. They know the truth about my kidnapping. I found out about it in 1983 after I was in a political campaign. All these things surround it I couldn't make up that prove it. Uh, Larry Flint, I keep saying Mr. Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and I was doing a book about mind control murders that were done in patterns because you can't see mind control. Now, here's the kicker. Here's the thing. This is back in 76, but the Tesla files were stolen back in 1930. Or probably they were using it before in King Ferdinand when the program shooter shot him and Sophie, his wife, and killed them. Then you've got Tsar Nicholas in Russia, the royal family. This thing is either being, by the Illuminati that's doing this, is either you either join them or they take you out. So they took out Tsar Nicholas's family, and they tried to blame and say Rasputin. He may have been programmed himself or being using it. I don't know there. But this was Anastasia up here in Charlottesville, and I'm not going to go any further. It's getting scary right now. I mean, I've put it up if you want to go back and look. It was Anna. And so I want to go back to this. I was telling about this. Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and I was living at Moonraker Apartments doing the book and trying to work too. And things got so bad there. They moved up the street. I thought it might get better. And those were beautiful apartments, and Moonraker's associated with 007. That 007 protects the monarch. And that the movie with Roger Moore had not come out till a year or 2 years later after I lived there. And it was on Delk Road, close to Powers Ferry Landing. And I moved on up to Laurelwood Apartments on Bentley Drive. And it's a lot of this was planned a long time ago. I remember going up there, and if I wasn't tuned to this, and it connects, it links, it's like patterns. I went up there to try to see if I could rent a room apartment there and what they look like. And they had this dog and pulled it in and said, "This is Juno. He's lost. He belongs to Dr. Kahn, Bernard Kahn." I had worked for him. He's Jewish. And I'm going to tell you now, I didn't like him. He and Gonzalez were together that I've told about Parkland Hospital in Dallas where JFK was taken. JFK helped kidnap me. And before you tune this out, somebody should, well, go after the right thing here instead of tuning me out. Anyway, I moved in there. Well, the Juno is not a name I'd heard before other than in Alaska. And I'm writing the book about doctors, MD License to Kill. Okay, then I move in, and Dr. Bernard Kahn didn't live there. He lived back close to Treetop, where I started doing the book in 76, next to it. And I'd worked for him. And he was best friends with Victor Gonzalez. Wow. Now then, I'm in, moved up there. I got a letter from the FBI, ongoing investigation, National Security Guard involved, issued through U.S. Attorney Harper in Atlanta. And you get into things that are done if you're mentally ill. And I'm beginning to wonder about mental illness. People that have been diagnosed, nobody's talking about mind control. They used to. They brought MK Ultra into Congress in 53, gave him a slap on the wrist and turned him loose, and nobody will touch it since. But anyway, back to, if I haven't lost my train of thought, and maybe I don't need to go into all this backup that I've given before, but I got a letter from the FBI June 23rd of 79, ongoing investigation, national security involved. And I was trying to think, I was saying something about the Juno, the dog. It didn't even live there. They had it and told me this, and there's things like, well, that connects later, links. So it was pre-done. People, the aluminum foil. It was U.S. Attorney Harper's office, I'm sure, because later, after all this happened to me, 80, and it was 82, when I was almost killed April Fool Day of 80. It's 82, and I'm back there in horrible condition. My apartment and everything had been taken. I'd almost been killed. But I'm back there and literally on the street. I go up to William Harper's office, and I'm met by really nice. Some of the FBI were on my side, really. But he was standing there, and he introduced himself. He was just lounging around. It looked like it was a little information thing right in front. It's kind of weird, of his office, U.S. Attorney's office. And he's the one that co-signed I'm not talking about James Baker that was with Ronald Reagan. This is Assistant U.S. Attorney in Atlanta. He talked to me, and he said something, when you come back, I can't remember, it'll be prosecuted or something, but this is all these years later. So I remember going down the step, but I remember I was in his office before. And I can remember looking back up at the office, and it was way up. I looked back at it, and there was aluminum foil on the window. And I thought, what the heck? And I wondered if that's his office. What are they doing with that? Okay, I'm going to connect this real quick. After they'd almost killed me, and I'm in taken illegally to Huntsville by this woman who where they put me when I was kidnapped in 41 that I've told all about. Guess who lives downstairs from me? I went to work for District Attorney Fred Simpson, and later you find out Simpson is associated with Wallace Simpson, who was supposed to marry my dad, King Edward VIII. That was nothing but a lie. She married a double. My dad was married to my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, from Madison, Wisconsin. And I put all this up, and the so-called royal family is not the royal family. My dad wouldn't go along with the Illuminati, so they took him down and kidnapped me. I was born in 39, kidnapped in 41, and JFK, his father, had been made ambassador to England by Roosevelt, another Jew, part of the Illuminati. My own uncle, the Kennedys are Irish, or the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and Bilderbergers are Jews. So you're getting into the global control world that they talk about in the Bible. Your United Nations started after they took down my dad and kidnapped me. He wouldn't go along with them. The treaties, etc., that allowed the United States to come in and take over, pretend they were our friends. They put their anybody all they have to look. Australia is British. They've put it. This whole thing was to take down Great Britain, the British Empire, and global control. And if the royal family didn't go along with it, they'll go after them. So anyway, all their military bases, United States, is underground, and all over the UK and everything that's British. All you have to do is look at it. They've even kidnapped me, got the real monarch here, took down my dad with character assassination. So anyway, this is where I'm at now, trying to tell about, because it was deliberate. The mind control murders were done in patterns, just like Larry Flint, and he said in the endorsement that I knew who was responsible for his shooting in Lawrenceville. They're doing this up here with her, and she's gone into anxiety, must trigger it. But I was watching that because of what Dr. Phil said. He said if you're treating her for the wrong thing, she's not going to ever get any better. And he said that it was wrong, what they were treating her for demons. But anyway, I was just watching that. She just had an episode on here, so it must be triggered. I would think, well, this is just me, but the way it sounds like anxiety from what they've said when she has these episodes. So now then, back to this. I'm not going to go any further with it because I've told, any fool knows that I've told about, I got in the campaign to replace Larry McDonald, was a doctor at Piedmont Hospital. He was a U.S. congressman. And I was writing about him in 79 in the book when Larry Flint was shot and all this. There's lists of murders done in patterns, so they can be proven. Anyway, I'm over in, let me go back to Huntsville. When I was taken there illegally in 1980 after they almost killed me and worked for the district attorney, guess who lived, I'm on the upstairs Warren House Apartments, okay? Warren is a word or clue for the Warren Commission that covered up the JFK assassination. He was shot by a program shooter, but he helped kidnap me and bring me to Moulton, Alabama. His father was ambassador to England, 36 till they kicked him out in 46. Now then, downstairs from me, the stairs are here next to my, by the way, they had a red phone in it and come in at my apartment when I moved in, come in and took it out at Warren House. And put a, well, I don't know if they put another one in or not, I don't remember. But anyway, downstairs to the right, the room right there as you went down was Carl, and that's the twins' name to Peggy. They gave me her name. I still have to use Peggy Dempsey Childers. I married a Childers, and the real Peggy and Carl twins of Lina, where they put me, Dempsey and Moulton, and she had murdered them. Peggy, the real Peggy, was murdered about a week or 2 weeks prior to me being put there, so it was all planned. But Carl Smith, you have to wonder if that was really his name. Anyway, he was FBI, and he drew his salary through an auto accident or something that he wasn't hurt, but that's how he drew his money to support him. I guess to keep, if that's true, to keep people from knowing he was FBI. But I knew he was FBI. He told me. And here's the deal: my husband or ex-husband, whatever, so much took place over there. He came over there a few times, and he got the lab report where they tried to kill me. They wouldn't give it to me, they gave it to him. And he came over there, and he was going downstairs, and Carl, the FBI agent, was standing there at the bottom of the steps. John, he talked. I thought, how do they know each other, And then, after he left, Carl Smith, the FBI agent, said, he holds my life in his hands. So you can make out of that whatever you want to. Now then, but here was the point I was going to make. His windows had aluminum foil on them. Now then, a rational person would say, well, he's trying to keep the sun out, I guess, and keep the place cool. He made a point of that, though. I've told you over at William Harper's. I think that using aluminum foil is supposed to be like someone who's, quote, mentally ill trying to keep signals or something out. Well, so he was just doing it, Carl was. It connects back to Atlanta. It's links. So anyway, this whole thing has been making mental illness, making people who've been programmed. And it has nothing to do with mental illness. If you treat a person that's under mind control, you're supposed to stop it and deprogram them, or stop the mind control from happening. And that's what they can create illnesses or cure it. Now then, you go back. They've set it up, though, so it mimics enough that people rather not cope with what's really going on and go after the victims. Like in Parkland, he was programmed down there, Florida, and the poor kid is going through hell. I mean, he probably wishes he were dead, that somebody had shot him or something. He was programmed, just like the Blacksburg, Virginia Tech next door here, the 33, the shooter shot himself. He was programmed to. Then you've got the psychiatrist at Fort Hood, that he was born here in Vinton, Roanoke, and he killed those people. He's on death row. I don't need to go any further. I'm going back, if this is going to go off. Dr. Phil, what he said, and this is what I've said: the kids have good intentions, and for some reason the media that won't tell any of the truth is behind these kids gun-ho. They're using them to take away the guns. Taking away the guns aren't going to do any good. It's mind control. You don't lock people up and bring in mental illness to make it easier. This is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard of. And until you address the right symptom and treat it, and that's mind control, you've lost it. And while they've focused on these kids in Parkland, people could get together and march just like they did, and march on the Capitol and march on the state capitals and make them tell the truth. And going after your